uncomfortable right now. Evan. What are you doing?
I don't know. Jason McCourty's on top of me. Dan Graziano's across from me. And the lights are brighter in here.
Why? Well, I wonder why
I'm
that
not
could
on
be.
top. I'm not on top.
Anybody got any theories?
Yes, for our radio
We're
audience.
close, but we're not. I'm not on top of you.
J-Mac is not on
That's
top
an
of
important
Evan.
distinction to me.
For those that aren't watching
That cannot
us on
see
TV,
us, yes.
exactly.
Yeah, the radio audience. Jason's sitting on my lap. So, are the Chiefs back? Did they ever leave? Jason, Graz, in that order?
The Chiefs are here. They never left. And I think you think about it, Rashee Rice is back. You saw him last night, what he brings to that offense. And Patrick Mahomes, like as long as he's the quarterback of this football team, they're always going to be relevant. But right now, this is the best that they've looked in the last few years, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And then the defense, getting stops early on in that game where they have some turnovers on downs. Now for the Commanders, it gave them more opportunities. But damn, the Chiefs are good.
Yeah, I mean, I think big differences, right? Like they're protecting him better, Mahomes, and real weapons at wide receiver, which, I mean, as opposed to, after Tyreek Hill goes, it's like, here's some guys, Patrick, make it work. Now you have a first-round pick and Xavier Worthy. You have, a Rashee Rice coming back who they haven't had in almost a year, really, because of the injury and then the suspension. So they're operating it the way they want to, and you can tell the level of confidence that Patrick Mahomes has right now is sky high. Not that he should have ever not had confidence, but this is a scary-looking Patrick Mahomes.
Raj, J-Mac, I want to bring y'all in on a conversation that we were having because, of course, your New England Patriots beat the brakes off of the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, and after the game, Kevin Stefanski was adamant that he was sticking with Dillon Gabriel as his starting quarterback. I don't understand why, but I do want to ask you a very pointed question. Is Dillon Gabriel an NFL quarterback?
The hard thing, when you look at Dillon Gabriel now, and I'm not giving you a clear-cut no or yes, because as a rookie quarterback on an offensive team that doesn't have a ton of weapons, doesn't look productive in its whole when Joe Flacco was the quarterback either, to insert Dillon Gabriel and say, all right, are you an NFL quarterback because the team and you're not having success? I don't want to just say right away no because of the situation at hand. Around the entire conversation, though, to me, you cannot just stick with Dillon Gabriel as if he is the answer when you're watching it on Sunday and your best player, one of the best players in the entire NFL, is sitting on the bench by himself, has 5 sacks, and looks completely distraught at the game. You got to come up with some type of answer, just from the standpoint of on a football team and in the locker room, everybody else is looking, and they're saying that's not the answer right now.
You draft a guy where they drafted Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round, you're probably thinking, if you're being honest with yourself, this guy could be a solid backup for us for a number of years. And so you're trying to find out what you have in Dillon Gabriel right now. Now, the other guy is Shedeur Sanders, who wasn't drafted till the 5th round. So by definition, we know they liked Gabriel better because they took him 2 rounds earlier. So right now the Browns are in this situation where they need to get a look at the quarterbacks on their roster because they're going to have 2 first-round picks next year, and they have to know whether they're going to need to go draft one. But you want to get, first of all, you want to get a representative look. Even if in the back of your head you're thinking we're going to give Shedeur Sanders some games at some point, you still want to give Gabriel enough games so that you can make but the other thing is, like, you're also trying to win a game. And the first place team in your division, the Steelers, is falling back to earth. And this is a division that could be won maybe with 8 or 9 wins this year, based on where the Ravens are and the fact that the Bengals can't beat the Jets. So you have a situation where you're stuck between 2 things. Yes, you're trying to win a game. Neither one of these quarterbacks is probably good enough to help you win games consistently week to week in the NFL this year. So you're going with the better of 2, substandard options. It's a difficult position for Stefanski to be in.
Well, Graz, I guess the question that I have is, one is substandard. You have no idea about the other one. We're intimating that he is because he was drafted in the 5th round, but we have no idea what Shedeur Sanders is or isn't.
We don't.
It's starting to feel like we have a better idea of what Dillon Gabriel is, which is a limited quarterback.
But we don't know what the coaches are seeing in practice and all that kind of stuff.
I don't care what practice is. If the game he threw a ball out of bounds, got an intentional grounding, and got a safety.
Yeah, I get it. The idea is, it couldn't be any worse, and maybe it couldn't, but it might not be better. And I think right now, if you're the Browns, you're in a weird situation where you have to get a look at these rookies. but you're also like you're trying to win the game. And if you've assessed that Dylan Gabriel gives you a better chance right now than Shedeur Sanders, then the right thing to do is to try it with him for a little while longer. Now, a better chance doesn't necessarily mean a good one, right? That's sort of what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to get across here. Is if they feel like they have two options, neither of which is ideal, that's a tough spot.
At some point, Shedeur has to play.
I agree, and I think he will. But you understand what I'm saying? Like if you're the Browns coaches right now, you're not thinking,
games isn't
we'll
enough.
give you 6 games and then we'll give him 6 games. Like you're still charging for parking. Like I mean, like you're trying. You got to try and put the best product you can on the field.
Well, let's go to the other end of the spectrum, the Philadelphia Eagles. We had questions about the offense. No A.J. Brown, but Saquon goes off. They get the win, the revenge win against the Giants. Any concerns about this Eagles team that still remains for you, J-Mac?
I think there's still concerns. The fact that A.J. Brown wasn't out there, he hadn't practiced this past week, had the game-winning catch against Minnesota, then did not practice the entire week. I think there's still some things that you have to figure out because they're going to need him to get to where they want to get to. They played against the Giants, who were down there starting their best cornerback on their team, their best safety on their team. So, yes, the product still looked good on Sunday, but to where they have to get, they're going to need A.J. Brown. But you look at the last 2 weeks, coming off, they lost to the Giants, they had 10 days off. The offense has looked so much better against Minnesota, throwing the ball all over the field. Now against the Giants, running the ball all over the field. That, to me, is the progression that you wanted to see from a Philadelphia Eagles team that kind of stumbled through the first few weeks of the season, which ended with that loss to the Giants. Make corrections, get better in those next 2 weeks, and we've seen that.
And I think what you want to see is consistency over a period of time that goes beyond 2 weeks at this point. And that's what we had with the Eagles last year. By the time we got to December, we know exactly who they are. We know what the offense is going to look like week in, week out. Good luck stopping it. Right now, we've seen a couple of good ones. Hurts has played well. If Jalen Hurts has gotten to the point in his career where they can run the offense through him in the passing game week to week and have success, that's an advancement for him. Like, no offense to him, he's done a lot of great things. But historically, that hasn't been their path to victory since he's been the quarterback. So we'll see. I still think it has to come down to Saquon Barkley as the sort of, central figure in the offense. It has to run through him. If you're the Eagles, you've found something in the passing game that can give you some more confidence in it going forward. But I want to see it week to week for a period of a month or two before I feel better about them going into the playoffs.
We're talking with Dan Graziano, Jason McCourty, ESPN NFL analyst and reporter here on Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. Who suffered the worst loss this weekend? Chicago, Atlanta, or Cincinnati?
Cincinnati. You're up 14 points in the fourth quarter on a team that hasn't won a game, and you lose that game knowing that Pittsburgh's coming back to earth, and you would have been 4-4 and a half game out of first place and have some hope that Joe Burrow's coming back in December, feeling good about the offense with Flacco. Utterly inexcusable loss.
It's hard to argue that. At the same time, watching Atlanta and Chicago, no Lamar Jackson for Chicago. That was a great opportunity coming as a team that was rolling. But for me, it's probably Atlanta. The Miami Dolphins, what we've seen, everyone was waiting for the Miami Dolphins to self-implode with everything that was going on. And the Falcons show up, and it wasn't even close. I think that was my issue in that game. And what we've seen, we watched Atlanta on primetime beat up on the Buffalo Bills, and we're like, damn, this team has arrived. And since then, you don't know what type of team you're going to get each and every time they show up. And I think that's a huge question mark for Atlanta in a division where, yes, Tampa Bay is at the top of it, but we were looking at them to really challenge them, and it hasn't looked like that the last few weeks.
Graz, what's the state of the union when it comes to the Lamar Jackson injury? What's the expectation for the Ravens ahead of their Thursday night game against Miami?
Their head coach, John Harbaugh, said yesterday he expects him to be able to go on Thursday night. And, he's listed as a full participant in practice on the injury report, so we have to take that as gospel and trust it completely. No, the expectation, I think, last week in that building was that he would be ready to go for Miami for week 9. And I think part of the reason they got him into practice last week was it's kind of a ramp up for that, knowing they were going to be on a short week. So I don't know that there was ever a really strong chance he was going to play this past Sunday, but definitely the goal was to make sure he could get there in time for Miami.
So we started this conversation talking about the Chiefs being back or having never left. I think if you look at the landscape of the AFC, the team right now that we would put up against them is the Indianapolis Colts. Yep. I know you were on the call, Jason, for that one. I'm trying to determine Are the Colts kind of like the Vikings of last year where they had an unbelievable regular season, but they're going to fall short in the playoffs? Or is this a team that's built for a playoff run?
You can say like the Vikings, or you could also say, do they look like the Philadelphia Eagles of last year, where the running back is running this team and he's running all over the place? We're talking about them as having the best offensive line in the NFL and a quarterback who, yes, the running back's leading the offense, but is making all the right decisions. So I think those are the 2 points. And from what I've seen from them so far, they look more like the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, I'm at that game Sunday, and yes, Jonathan Taylor is unbelievable. The size of the holes that he had to run through, where there were no Tennessee Titans defenders even touching him until he was banging his head on the goalpost. Like, this team, and the defense is opportunistic. They're making plays when they have to. They're not dominating anyone, but they're making enough plays to be in control of games. They're blowing teams out. Like, it's not, the point differential is insane right now what they're doing to people.
J-Mac, can Jonathan Taylor win MVP?
I'm going to say yes to that, and the reason was last year Saquon had an unbelievable year, but so did Josh Allen and so did Lamar Jackson. Like, they were the 2 quarterbacks we were talking about all year long. Right now, like, yes, Baker Mayfield's playing well, Daniel Jones is playing well, Mahomes is like, if he keeps going, like,
say it louder, say it louder, guys.
Grass off the top rope. Come on, Grass. You can't say that and not follow up.
I'm just saying, like, you have, if a running back's going to win the award, he has to do something outrageous and historic, and it has to be kind of a down year for the top quarterbacks. And I think that's what J-Mac's getting at. And right now, I mean, half a season in, there are some quarterbacks that make a case. I think it's tough for a running back.
I don't have a vote. Breaking news. I don't know why anyone would think I would. And if I did, Jason would try to get it taken away from me. But if I did, I would never vote for a running back. I couldn't, because I would make the argument Jonathan Taylor is able to have the season he has because the quarterback graduates the offense into doing what he's doing by not making bad decisions. I'm serious.
So but if he breaks LaDainian Thomas's record and has 32 total touchdowns,
it's because Daniel Jones doesn't make as many mistakes.
Look, it's the quarterback is just responsible for so many more things. Like, if you just talk about the word value, all the quarterbacks start with a major lead on every other position, and I think that's why the award falls the way it does. I used to, when I covered baseball, I was an MVP voter, and that word valuable, like, if someone had just said player of the year 100 years ago instead of most valuable player, like a lot of these awards would be different. But the fact that word valuable is in there,
so
I think
if he broke LT's record and didn't win the MVP, they should just get rid of the award. Just say it's a quarterback award.
I agree.
Because you're essentially just saying because the quarterback touches the ball every play, he has to. Because you could argue that Daniel Jones, if he doesn't have Jonathan Taylor, we're not talking about Daniel Jones.
We saw Daniel Jones without Jonathan Taylor, i.e. Saquon Barkley in New York. How'd that work out?
So you can make the same argument on the other side of it, where this quarterback needs this running back to be in the conversations that he's in this year. So if we're going to just say, like, the quarterback has to touch the ball every single play so nobody else on the offensive side of the ball can be an MVP, then we can say that, but I mean that sucks.
Maybe Quentin Nelson should be most valuable player. He's helping both of them.
Protector of the year.
Protector of the year. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more to this conversation. Dan Graziano, Jason McCourty. You'll see them on Get Up at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Always a pleasure. Thank you guys both for coming in today. Always providing the energy, like 5 Hour Energy.